made the story about something she has done. And she took to the podium before the game and decided she was going to attack fans that are critical of her, media that actually is critical of her. Let's just start right here. Me, before the game. Stephanie White has once again made the story not about the game being played, but she manufactured another story, and she did. Let's start here.
This wasn't just about a few mean comments on social media. This was a professional coach cracking under the immense pressure of the Caitlin Clark era. The spotlight has never been brighter on the WNBA, and it seems that some of the old guard simply cannot handle the heat. For decades, these coaches operated in near total anonymity, but now every word and every gesture is scrutinized by millions. Stephanie White's tirade was a clear signal that the pressure had finally breached the hull. She wasn't just defending herself. She was lashing out at a world she no longer understands, and in doing so, she may have just signed her own exit papers.
I don't know if she believes this is how professional coaches act. Can you imagine if she was the manager of the Yankees or the coach of the Eagles? She wouldn't last a week. People have been very critical of her. People have called her out for not having Sophie Cunningham's back the other day. She gets caught in a little bit of a fib here, too. She claims she did not see the play between Dejanay and Sophie. You sure about that?
The details of the press conference are even more shocking when you look at the timing. Her team was about to play a massive game, but she made the entire night about her own personal grievances. She attacked the media members who dared to ask tough questions and dismissed the concerns of thousands of fans as mere fear-mongering. It was a master class in how to alienate your entire support system in under 5 minutes. People are calling it the most unprofessional display in the history of the league. When you tell your own fan base to go to hell, you aren't just being real. You are committing professional harakiri in front of the entire world.
You got voices that you're not used to hearing from that aren't afraid to call you out. You got people that have covered other sports that aren't afraid to call you out. And it seems that you can't handle it and you are cracking.
This isn't necessarily for those people that are in this room. This is more for an online community that's trying to create narratives that simply don't exist. Trying to create a fabrication or distortion of who I am.
One of the biggest points of contention involved a specific play involving Sophie Cunningham. Fans were furious that White didn't seem to have her players back after a dangerous on-court incident. When confronted about it, White claimed she didn't see the play in real time because she had to rush to a press conference. It sounded like a reasonable excuse until the video footage surfaced. In the clips circulating online, White appears to be standing right there, looking directly at the play as it happens. This perceived lie has completely shattered the trust between the coach and the community. It wasn't just a mistake. It was seen as a deliberate deception.
It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their ass on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Don't you love how professional that was at the end? She goes.
The disconnect between what White says and what the cameras show is staggering. She talks about leading with integrity and honesty, but the visual evidence suggests otherwise. This fib about the Cunningham play was the spark that turned a small fire into a massive inferno. Fans of the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark aren't just casual observers anymore. They are deeply invested, and they have the receipts. They saw the coach standing on the sidelines while her player was targeted, and they saw the lack of an immediate reaction. To then go to the podium and pretend it never happened was the ultimate insult to the intelligence of the fan base.
Don't you love how professional that was at the end? She goes on a rant about love and kindness and tells the people that are critical of her to go to hell. And make no mistake, there are a lot of fans of Caitlin Clark, of Sophie Cunningham, of the Indiana Fever, that their professional basketball coach just told to go to hell. Bill Walsh, Bill Belichick.
Think about the legendary coaches in sports history. Imagine Bill Belichick or Phil Jackson taking to the podium before a playoff push to tell the fans they can all go to hell. It would never happen. Those coaches understood that criticism is part of the job description when you're in the big leagues. Stephanie White, however, seems to believe she is above the scrutiny. She acted as if the fans were lucky to even have her there, ignoring the fact that the fans are the reason the league is finally profitable. This elitist attitude is exactly what people are tired of seeing in professional sports, and the reaction was swift and merciless.
This is a video, and it sure looks like, by the way, Stephanie White's standing right here. Right here. There's a finger pointing at her. Watching this play in real time. Right there. Right there. She claims she did not see the play in real time. It certainly looks like you did. Let's go here. Kelly Krauskopf. I said, Stephanie White, for the second time in a week.
The timing couldn't have been worse for the Indiana Fever. The team is currently in the middle of a historic season, largely thanks to the arrival of Caitlin Clark. The stands are packed, the ratings are through the roof, and the energy is electric. But instead of celebrating the success of the players, the headlines are dominated by a coach who can't stop making herself the story. Every time the team takes a step forward, White's behavior seems to pull them 2 steps back. It's a toxic cycle that has left many wondering if the players themselves are becoming frustrated with the constant off-court drama being fueled by their own leader.
Social media is a thing now. Harsh criticism has always been a thing. Nobody gave a shit about your league enough to pay attention. And now you got a lot of regular sports fans that expect a league to be covered a certain way. And you guys don't know how to handle it. You don't. Coach White has done a tremendous job leading the Fever for the second consecutive season. Has us in a great position for a playoff push. She has kept our team focused and united, all while under the brightest spotlight our team and our league.
Caitlin Clark fans are a different breed of supporters. They are loyal, they are vocal, and they are everywhere. When White targeted the online community, she was directly attacking the very people who have brought a new level of prosperity to the WNBA. These fans aren't just creating narratives. They are observing the game with a level of intensity that the league has never seen before. By dismissing them, White essentially told the most important demographic in women's basketball that their opinions don't matter. It was a massive tactical error that has effectively turned the entire stadium against her, making every home game feel like an away game.
Be real. This is the worst look I've ever seen in my 50 years. I can vividly tell you about sports for 45 years. This tonight was the worst look I've ever seen in 45 years from any professional coach in any league. Tell me what you think. I mean, look, Bobby Knight used to throw all kinds of fits. At least he was a legend.
Critics are now calling for a total house cleaning in Indiana. They argue that if the coach and the president can't handle the pressure of the spotlight, they need to find a new line of work. The era of the WNBA being a small protected community is over. It is a major professional league now, and it to be run by people who understand how to navigate the media and the fans without having a public breakdown. The love and grace defense doesn't work when you're caught in a lie and telling your customers to go to hell. It's a new world, and the Indiana Fever leadership seems to be stuck in the past, unable to adapt. The internal tension within the locker room has to be reaching a breaking point. Imagine being a player like Aaliyah Boston or Kelsey Mitchell, putting in the work and playing high-level basketball, only to have your coach hijack the post-game narrative with an unhinged rant. The players are out there putting their ass on the line, as White herself said, but she is the one making it impossible for the media to focus on their achievements. She claimed she wanted to talk about the great basketball they're playing, but she was the one who chose to spend her time at the podium attacking the internet instead of breaking down the game film. This isn't the first time this season that White's professionalism has been questioned. There have been multiple instances where she seemed to fail to back her players or made comments that felt personal rather than professional, but this latest outburst was the final straw for many. It felt like a woman who was completely overwhelmed by the gravity of her position. When you start talking about hijacking the league and fear-mongering because people are criticizing your rotations or your handling of a star player, you've lost the plot. You are no longer coaching a team. You are fighting a ghost war against the very people you should be courting. The irony of the situation is that the Fever actually won the game. They beat their opponents 106-92 in a dominant performance. Caitlin Clark had another incredible double-double with 22 points and 10 assists. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 28. It should have been a night of celebration and a chance to build momentum for the playoffs. Instead, the victory was completely overshadowed by White's pre-game behavior. Fans who wanted to talk about Clark's vision or Mitchell's scoring were forced to deal with the fallout of a coach who told them to go to hell. White stole the joy from the win, and that is an unforgivable sin in the eyes of a sports fan. The media reaction has been equally brutal. Journalists who have covered sports for decades are calling this the worst look they've ever seen from a professional coach. They aren't just talking about the WNBA. They are comparing this to the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. To find a comparable level of unhinged behavior, you have to go back to the most infamous meltdowns in history. But even those coaches usually had a list of championships to back up their arrogance. White is acting like a legend while presiding over a team that is still trying to find its footing in a rapidly changing landscape. As the calls for her resignation grew louder, the narrative shifted from will she stay to how can she stay. The relationship with the fans has been permanently damaged. Every time she walks onto the court now, there will be a cloud of controversy following her. The trust is gone, and in professional sports, once you lose the locker room and the fan base, there is usually only one outcome. The pressure from the online community that she so casually dismissed has become a tidal wave that the front office can no longer ignore. No matter how many supportive press releases they put out, the situation has become a cautionary tale for the rest of the league. It shows exactly what happens when the old way of doing things crashes into the new reality of superstar-driven sports. Caitlin Clark brought the fans, but the league has to be able to keep them. Telling them to go to hell is not a sustainable business model. Other coaches are watching this disaster unfold and taking notes. The scrutiny isn't going away. If anything, it's only going to get more intense. If you can't handle a few critical tweets without losing your mind at a press conference, you are in the wrong profession. The fallout has also exposed the deep divisions within the WNBA media landscape. Some traditional reporters tried to protect White, while newer voices and independent creators were the ones calling her out. This clash of the media credentials crowd versus the online community is a microcosm of the larger struggle for the soul of the league. White chose a side, and it was the side that is rapidly losing influence. She banked on the idea that the people in the room would protect her, but she forgot that the room now extends to the entire world via the internet. The phrase, 10 toes down, was used by White to describe her loyalty to her players, but many fans saw it as empty rhetoric. If you're really riding with your players, you don't lie about seeing a dangerous play that put one of them at risk. You don't make the night about your own hurt feelings instead of their hard-earned victory. True loyalty is shown through actions, not through aggressive podium speeches filled with buzzwords like integrity and humility. The fans saw through the performance, and they weren't buying the brand of leadership White was trying to sell. In the end, the noise became too loud to ignore. The unhinged label stuck, and no amount of PR spin could wash it away. The Indiana Fever are at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming days will define the franchise for years to come. They have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark, but they need a steady hand at the helm to guide that talent through the storm. Stephanie White's outburst proved that she wasn't that steady hand. She was the storm itself, and she ended up drowning the very progress she was supposed to be leading. This saga serves as a final reminder that in the modern world, the fans are the ones with the ultimate power. You can tell them to go to hell. You can call them names, and you can dismiss their observations, but you do so at your own peril. A coach's job is to manage the game, the players, and the pressure. When the coach becomes the biggest source of conflict, the system has failed. Stephanie White's departure marks the end of an era of unaccountability, proving that no matter how much you preach about love and grace, the truth will always find its way to the surface.